Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the validation finally arrives. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So just as behind me, the foliage is turning, things are becoming green and new life is popping up all over in the Carolinas. That is what you will find post-narcissistic relationship once you've healed. Everything will be new, everything will be abundant. Doors of possibilities will open up for you. But perhaps you're not there yet. But where you are is you're now getting validation from that relationship. And the validation you are receiving most likely is coming from a therapist, or watching videos, or journaling, or meditating, or reading. You're understanding now that you have to slow your life down post-narcissistic relationship. You really have to do the deep dive into yourself. And you will be searching for so many things, so many answers to questions that may or may not have already crossed your mind post-narcissistic relationship, because this is a relationship that you need to heal from. Whether it was a romantic relationship, a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, neighbor, coworker, person you went into business with, person in your community or hobby group. The narcissist is everywhere, and the healing must be done by you. Remember that the narcissist has nothing to heal from. They can't introspect. They don't change. They only deteriorate over time, and they want to keep people stuck. They want to keep people thinking about them and pining for them and wondering if they can change, they will change, etc. But when the validation finally arrives, this is something that perhaps you weren't even aware that you were looking for. And this means that when you were in the narcissistic relationship, think about how often you would be sharing your feelings or your thoughts or your emotions or your hopes or dreams or aspirations, or just your day-to-day things that you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to get a piece of pizza and you wanted pepperoni, but the narcissist said, no, not so fast. You'll be having anchovies and that's it. But I don't like anchovies. That's what you're gonna have. That's the narcissistic relationship in a nutshell. And you're so beaten down and so broken down because you are not being heard. You are not being validated in the relationship. Your opinion does not matter. What matters is that the narcissist kept rule over you, and they kept you under their thumb. They kept you in the narcissistic fog. They kept you working for them. And the whole time they were peppering you with abuse, gaslighting, invalidating, devaluing, triangulation, the smear campaign, rage fits, projection, mirroring, etc. The list goes on, and there's a real long laundry list of abuse techniques that the narcissist uses. My hope is you're learning the definitions and you're getting the glossary and the terms on the narcissistic abusive cycle in your repertoire, in your verbiage, if you will. But when the validation finally arrives, this is a good day. And it's not just one day, it will be for the rest of your life, because you are no longer in a toxic relationship with somebody invalidating you and telling you how you won't amount to anything, or that you should be fortunate to be with them, or they're lucky that they spend time with you, etc. The narcissistic relationship, remember, it goes around in a loop, in a circle. And it is the love bomb / euphoric stage, when everything appears to be puppies and rainbows. And that's when you usually fell for the mask and you believed in the narcissist's words. And then there's the devaluation stage. That begins once the narcissist knows that they have you. Example, you married them, you had children with them, you relocated, you went into business, you loaned them money, etc. And the other part would be the discard, or the ending of the relationship. Maybe you ended the relationship yourself. Either way, every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. We now know that. And then at times there'll be a Hoover. A Hoover is when the narcissist is trying to draw you back into the relationship, whether it be for a minute, 10 minutes, an hour, a day, week, month, year, or the rest of your life. Don't accept a Hoover. It's just the same loop of abuse going around and around, and you removed yourself, or you were removed from that relationship. And now if you're getting the wisdom and you're applying the tools, and you've had so many light bulb moments and you're getting validation, you should not want to have anything to do with the narcissist or any narcissist, because now you have boundaries and you can say no, the strongest word in the English language. But when the validation arrives, this is going to be a very pleasant day for you, a very pleasant experience, because you will finally put the pieces of the puzzle together. Now, you won't put them all together at once. The pieces of the puzzle fall into place the further you get away from the narcissist and that relationship and in that environment. But you will get pieces of the puzzle falling into place. Example, let's say you watch a video and then you don't know what triangulation is. And then you realize, oh, that's what triangulation is. Oh my gosh, that happened to me. So then you're thinking to yourself, wait, that wasn't just me that experience, that happened to me, and it's happened to many other people. That's why people are creating videos about triangulation. But on top of that, now I can put a word or a definition or a term to that experience that I had. And that is one of the keys to the healing path on the narcissistic abusive cycle. It's that you have to slow your life down. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to understand that that relationship almost took you down for the count, but it didn't, and here you are. And now you're building yourself back up. You're learning, you're growing, you're teaching if you can. You're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and you're getting your cup full. And along there, you're getting validation. So using triangulation as an example, and that's my least favorite thing that these people do to people, they bring a third person into the relationship, whether that person exists or not, and they try to drive a wedge between you and them, which is the narcissist. Having said that, when you are validated and you are being heard by somebody, whether it be a video, someone who creating a video is sharing their wisdom with you, or you're reading a book and the book is sharing another person's experience with the narcissist, or whether you are talking to a therapist who knows what they're talking about, or any or all of these things, this is a very good part. It's a very important part of a healing path because you need to be heard. When you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you were stifled, you were invalidated, you were less than. Your voice did not matter. The only thing that mattered about you when you were in the relationship with the narcissist was what you provided for the narcissist. That is why so frequently when you would want to go grab dinner at your favorite restaurant, well, the narcissist would be late unintentionally, or they would say that the food wasn't good, or they had to wait too long for the hors d'oeuvres, whatever it was, but they would invalidate your experience with that restaurant, and they would devalue you because you liked the restaurant, but they didn't want you to like the restaurant because the narcissist never had your best interest at heart. They were trying to draw a wedge between you and anything that mattered to you. And using that restaurant example, yes, that happens each and every day all over the planet. It's probably happening right now. As a matter of fact, I'm sure it is. And that is not a pleasant experience because when you're so beaten down and you're not listened to and you're being devalued and invalidated by the narcissist, eventually your favorite restaurant, it disappears. You don't go there because you're trained and groomed and manipulated into not even having a voice for dinner, which restaurant you want to go to. So let's just jump on that example again for a brief moment. Back when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, say you wanted to go out to have dinner tonight, well, you would ask them, hey, where would you like to go? And every once in a while, they would tell you, hey, why don't you pick? We always go where I want to go. Well, why don't you pick tonight? And then you're thinking to yourself, because you've been down this road multiple times, you're like, should I say my favorite restaurant and suffer the wrath of what's going to happen? Or should I just kick it back to them and say, no, you can pick. It's okay. I'll just do whatever you want to do. That's usually what you did. The second part, you kicked it back to the narcissist because they had already manipulated you into being silent and being invalidated and devalued, so you would not stand up for yourself and say what restaurant you went to. Because if you did, again, as I mentioned a few moments ago, maybe you would go to your restaurant, but the narcissist would kibosh it. They would say the food was overcooked or undercooked, or it was too expensive, or they would have something wrong with the experience. Or maybe the restaurant experience did go well, and when you got home, you would be given the silent treatment. Why? Because there's a price to pay for every decision that you made or didn't make. And that restaurant would be another example of a price to pay because you had a little bit of entertainment or fun for a couple hours, but now you're going to pay the price by the silent treatment. So when you're finally validated and the validation finally arrives, it's a huge thing for you. Think about all the toxicity, all of the very poor behaviors you tolerated. Think of the words you consumed, the negative words that you were peppered with each and every day, week, month, year, decade. Think about how envious and jealous of you the narcissist was, but yet they acted like they knew everything about you. Example, let's take your job. Let's say in the field of work that you are a professional in, let's say you went to school and you studied really hard and say you had to get a master's degree or graduate degree or something. Well, now you're a certain caliber or you're highly educated in that field, or maybe you didn't go to school and you're educated in it anyway. Maybe you started your field at a young age and you're an expert in it, and I'm sure you are. Well, the narcissist, would they go to you if they needed your advice or counsel from your profession? They usually wouldn't. They would go to a complete stranger or say, oh yeah, my friend over here, they do the same thing you do. Then I'm going to talk to them because they know more than you do. See, they will devalue you or invalidate your profession. I hear this so frequently during one-on-one sessions. That's exactly what the narcissist does. They try to take your beautiful, bright, shining light, your abundance, your education, your health, your time, your money, your energy, your effort, your empathy. They want to take it all from you. And they want to take as much as they possibly can without you ever figuring it out, because the narcissistic relationship, as I mentioned, the cycle goes around in a loop. And in the beginning of that relationship is a pivotal part. That's when you fell for the mask. That's when you believed that that person who turned out to be the narcissist had your best interest at heart. They didn't then, they don't now, and they never will. And so getting validation from that, now understanding what narcissism is, that's a huge thing for you. You didn't know what narcissism was. What you thought it was a person looking at themselves in the mirror and just saying, oh, wow, I'm so pretty or so handsome. Well, yeah, that's a tiny little sliver of it, but that is a microcosm compared to what actually a narcissistic relationship does. It takes away from so much of you and your identity. It takes away from your core, your soul, your being, your spirit, your will to live at times. It takes away from everything that makes you you. And I will share something else with you. When you're in these relationships, you are trapped. You don't know where you are. You don't know how you got there. What you do know is your life has been turned upside down, and you're trying to find a way back to the passage, to that place you were before, which was the abundant, beautiful, bright, shining light, or the energy place where you were before you met the narcissist. But you can't find it because you don't know what narcissism is. You weren't taught this. So once you finally get light bulb moments, maybe you type in the search engine or browser, spouse won't talk to me, or rage fit or something, and then you go down the rabbit hole of education and exploration. That's when you begin to get validation. Now, in the beginning, you're going to be floored. When you first figure out that perhaps you married a narcissist, or maybe it's your mom or dad or brother or sister, you're going to not be able to wrap your head around it. But what you will do is you will get validation that, in fact, your experiences throughout your whole life to this point in time, they are now being validated, because there's actual words out there, or videos, or books, or there's information at your fingertips now that can confirm that your experiences are real. So when the narcissist would try to gaslight you and tell you, no, that never happened, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't remember it that way, I remember it this way. Well, in the past, you would believe them because you didn't know what you were up against. But now you can throw that right out the window, and you can say, no, I know what you're doing, and I've been there, and now I'm educated, and I'm now empowered, and I know my worth and my value, and don't need to be around you any longer. Don't need to give you my energy or my attention, and you can play the gaslighting games with whomever you want to, but I'm not going to partake because I now see through the mask. I see through you. Those are very pivotal words. And remember, the narcissist will continue to stay in your life, or continue to try to be in your life, because they're attracted to you like a moth to a flame. You are the flame. You are the beautiful, bright, shining light. They are the moth. They are the negative energy source, and they're attracted to you. That is why you fell into the narcissistic relationship, whether you were born into it, you married into it, it's a coworker or a friend or a person in a community or a group that you're part of. All of these things add up to a few very important parts of this video. Number one, when you get the wisdom, you need to apply the wisdom, which means if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you've identified that and it is no longer serving you, you need to get the message and go no contact, block them, delete them, and remove all fly monkeys and people associated with them if you can. If you can't, utilize gray rock. Get off the radar. Don't share information with them. Don't tell them what you're thinking. Don't have anything to do with them. And if you can't do either, please have an exit plan. Develop an exit plan. Maybe you can get out of that relationship in a month, maybe in 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Maybe it's going to take you a couple years till the kids graduate high school. Who knows? But understand that where you are today is not where you will be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, and in 12 months. And if you know that you were and or are in a relationship with a narcissist, one more minute being in that relationship is 1 minute too long. Again, in the past, you didn't have the wisdom. You didn't know what was going on. You weren't being validated. Now you are getting validated. Now you're understanding that there are hundreds of millions of us who have gone through this cycle. And there are so many of us who have reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, where we no longer care about the narcissist or any people from that period of time. Because those people were in our lives for a period of time. The narcissist instilled the smear campaign and tried to take us down for the count, but they failed. And when they failed, they didn't realize they were going to create a superhuman being, which is you, and it certainly is me, because we now have the wisdom and we are applying the tools and we are paying it forward when our cup is full. And we have been validated, or we are being validated, because we no longer have to be in a house when you can cut the tension of the air with a butter knife. You're no longer being in a house when you're being gaslit, or having doors slammed, or plates dropped, or glasses thrown at you, or temper tantrums because you cooked the chicken a little bit too long, or rage fits because somebody, i.e. the narcissist, will bring up something from 6, 7, 10 years ago about how you left your sneaker outside and you didn't bring it in the house, or something like that. These are all the games of the narcissist, and the narcissistic cycle goes around and around and around, and the one constant is the narcissist. It is not you. You are understanding that you are a beautiful, bright, shining light, and you need to have boundaries, and you need to understand that you are the priority, that you come first, second, and third. No longer do we tolerate poor behavior. No longer do we just put a chuckle on and laugh along with the poor taste jokes. No longer do we partake in toxicity at all. We now understand that we can just remove ourselves from these environments, or decide to not attend certain events because there will be toxicity there. Why? Why would you live in a toxic existence when you have the wisdom? You shouldn't. You should remove yourself from these relationships. But when the validation finally arrives, it is a good thing. And when you get light bulb moments, and the further you get away from the narcissist, you will get more and more light bulb moments, which again will validate what your thoughts were. These are pivotal parts of the healing path. These are really instrumental parts of healing. That's why, let's talk about dreams for a moment. When you have dreams post-narcissistic relationship, and sometimes when you're in it, but usually post, you'll be dreaming very vivid dreams about the narcissist or about people in that period of time that may or may not be with the narcissist. I'm talking about in the dream. But these dreams will be surreal. They will make Hollywood movies look like kids' play, child's play, because they are so real, and you now know the narcissist so well because you've now coupled your experience and insight on the narcissistic abusive cycle with your relationship. And now when you put the two together, another part of the healing path and the processing is dreams. You can't go to bed and say, tonight I'm going to dream about this, this, or this. At least I can't. But what you can do is at times when you're in the dream, you can actually take yourself back and try to understand what that dream meant, because these dreams aren't normal, average, everyday dreams. They're extremely vivid. There's a message in each and every one of them. And if you have the ability, and if you are still experiencing the toxicity of the narcissist, and now you're unraveling some of it in dreams, I would really suggest, if you can, write these dreams down, because there's a message in there, I can assure you. I did the exact same thing over the past 3 years, actually 2 years when I was in Costa Rica. Don't have those anymore, thank goodness, but they too will help you heal. They too will help you understand the pieces of the puzzle, and they will help validate you. Yes, this is the path. Again, before I close the video, I want to share something with you. If you're in a stable or healthy relationship and it ends, you don't have to heal from it. You don't. You just move on, and yeah, maybe you grieve or, shed some tears, and maybe it lasts a couple days, maybe a week, maybe 2. I get it, but you don't have to heal and do a deep dive and go back and process childhood wounds and journal and meditate and see a therapist and read and watch videos. You don't have to do any of those things and learn a whole different glossary and terms, definitions on the narcissistic abuse cycle. You don't have to do that. But if you're in a toxic narcissistic relationship and it ends and you were in it for a period of time, you're going to have to heal from it. You're going to have so many questions that you're going to need the answers to that the narcissist will not provide, because the narcissist doesn't provide closure. They can't, they won't, and they never will. They just slither away into the night onto the new supply. But you're going to have to do the deep dive. You're going to have to shed the tears. You're going to have to lose the weight or gain the weight. You're going to have to really focus on yourself and slow your life down. That's the path. That's what we must do. And along that path, narcissistic free or narcissist free, you're going to find out you're going to be getting validated, because people will pop into your life. The people that will know certain things about you. Example, people that know about narcissism. We speak a separate language than your average human being because we went through something that most people don't go through, and most people don't get through the narcissistic abusive cycle and find the wisdom and apply the tools. But that's what you're doing. That's what I've done. Having said all those things, there are people that have been through it, and they can just look at you and give you a nod and say, yep, I know what you've been through. And that's a skill set. It sincerely is. My hope is you're either acquiring that or you're getting that. My real hope is that you never went through a narcissistic abusive relationship, but you probably have, because you made it this far. And that is exactly what the path is. It's to get the validation that you never received from the narcissist when you were in the relationship, and to get the validation in time, in your own time, and to heal properly. Remember, there is no magic pill or there's no magic wand that can be waved to help you catapult yourself forward from the healing path of the narcissistic relationship. You have to do a deep dive. It's like a tunnel that you have to go through. Let me rephrase that. It is a tunnel that you have to go through. And in that tunnel, you'll experience some very challenging days and evenings, to say the least. You may even experience the dark night of the soul, which I experienced, and it's not a pleasant experience to go through, but I had to go through it. There was no other way. And my hope is that you didn't go through that, but if you did, understand it was for a reason. It's because you had to heal. You had to put the ego aside, and you had to slow your life down and understand that what you thought in the past was real. It wasn't. And that this version of you is a totally galvanized, changed version of you. And now you're living your best life, but you're living it on your terms. And all the beliefs that you once had are now thrown out the window. You're changed forever, but you now vibrate on such a higher level than you ever even thought imaginable, because you see the world through a brand new set of eyes post-narcissistic relationship once you've healed. Everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I love doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. God bless you all. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And it's getting green here. That's why the thumbnail is green. It's getting green. The spring is here. It's almost summer. All right. I love you guys. Bye.